This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I am Amy Goodman. As the bombardment of Lebanon continues, the United States and Israel have been calling on Syria to pressure Hezbollah to back down, to release the 2 captured Israeli soldiers. On Monday, President Bush was caught on tape at the G8 summit, speaking privately to the British Prime Minister Tony Blair. On the tape, he curses and blames Syria for the current crisis.
See, the irony is that what they need to do is get Syria to get Hezbollah to stop doing shit, and it's over.
Meanwhile, former CIA Director James Woolsey appeared on Fox yesterday to call for U.S. airstrikes against Syria. Damascus has warned that it'll respond in a, quote, unlimited manner to any Israeli attacks on the country. Meanwhile, a massive pro-Hezbollah rally was held in Damascus yesterday. Today, we bring you a Democracy Now! U.S. broadcast exclusive, an interview with Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Last month, he gave a wide-ranging interview to independent journalist Reese Erlich in Damascus. Erlich's a freelance foreign correspondent, reports regularly for CBC, ABC Australia, Radio Deutsche Welle, National Public Radio. Reese Erlich is also co-author of the book Target Iraq, What the News Media Didn't Tell You, and he now joins us from San Francisco. Welcome to Democracy Now!, Reese.
Thanks very much, Amy.
Can you talk about this interview that we're about to play? What were the circumstances of it? Where did you interview the president of Syria?
I interviewed him at the presidential palace up on a hill above Damascus where he has his formal meetings. It's a very impressive place. You go in and you have about 8 miles of red carpet and huge doors, and it's quite an impressive entrance. And then out of a little room comes the president of Syria and welcomes you in and shakes your hand. He's a very friendly guy. I've had an opportunity to interview presidents from a number of different countries, and most of them are rather stiff and formal. He was very informal, easy to talk to, was forthcoming in the interview, and we talked about a whole range of issues from Iran and Syria and U.S. relations and terrorism down to issues of democratic rights inside Syria.
I want to turn to the first part of that interview right now, where, Reese Erlich, you started by asking President Bashar al-Assad if he was concerned the United States might also be considering Syria as a target for military action. Mind you, this is before the current conflict. You asked him if the U.S. might also consider Syria as a target. This is the president of Syria answering.
Actually, Syria is a history of 5,000 years, and it made its history, it made its presence, and it will make its future. The people in Syria will decide who's going to be in charge, who's going on the helm, and who's not. But the most important thing, whoever thinks about destabilizing Syria, he should know that he is going to destabilize the region. We are the safety valve in the region.
The safety valve?
Yeah, safety valve in the region.
In what way? How?
In a geopolitical way. Geopolitical way. The history of Syria, the role of the Syria and the region, the link between Syria and our neighbors, social links, ideological links, and the interest links with the region. So the whole region is connected with each other.
You mentioned that in the past Syria has helped provide intelligence about terrorist groups, Al-Qaeda and so on. Explain that, and when did that cooperation end?
Actually, we started cooperating with the United States. We took the initiative to cooperate with the United States intelligence after 11th of September. And we succeeded in preventing more than 7 plots made by Al-Qaeda against the United States. The cooperation stopped last March in 2005 because of mistakes were made by the United States first, second because of their political position or stand against Syria.
What were the mistakes made by the United States?
Technical mistakes that led to losing many opportunities to go forward in fighting terrorism in the region.
That was also around the time in which the U.S. was pressuring Lebanon to demand the return of Syrian troops, and the charges about Hariri and so on and so forth. So did that, in general, that sour the political atmosphere?
Definitely, definitely.
Do you think the Bush administration will militarily attack Iran using the issue of nuclear weapons development, supposedly, that Iran is involved in? Do you think that's likely?
Anyway, it's a hypothetical question, but if you want to talk about logic and the interest of the region and of the United States and the rest of the world, is not to do such a thing, because the whole world will pay a very expensive price.
What would be the consequences if the U.S. did either try to impose sanctions or even a military strike on Iran?
Sanctions won't do anything. From the experience in Iraq and many different countries, sanctions won't do anything. But the consequences of destabilizing the region by sanctions, by military actions, by any kind of means will lead to destabilizing the whole Middle East.
Iran has a number of options should something like that happen. For example, it can work with its supporters in Iraq to attack U.S. forces when they're not doing that now. It has influence with Hezbollah, and that it could inflame the situation there. Do you think those would be some of the examples of the destabilization?
I think the question should be as to the Iranian. I mean, well, they're going to do. But for me, the consequences are much deeper. If you look at Iraq as an example, you cannot talk about factions or parties or groups. It's much more deeper than this. It's chaos. It's going to be a total chaos. Yeah.
Reese Erlich interviewing the president of Syria. We're going to go back to that interview, joined by Reese Erlich in studio in San Francisco and